Olympics here. And we're set to go 2,000 meters. It's a beautiful start. East Germany next to the camera, then USSR, then New Zealand, Poland, West Germany, and the United States at the top of your picture.
Very hard to tell this early. The United States will be going for an early lead. They are a very fast off the mark crew, as are the New Zealand crew. I would think we can expect, as is happening, Russia and West Germany perhaps to hold back a little bit and make their bid in the middle of the race.
New Zealand is in first place. They are just now 2 away from the bottom of the screen in the black shirts. Just a very slight lead. Over at the top of your picture is the 8-oared shell of the United States, the coxswain Paul Hoffman, a veteran of the Olympic Games of 1968 at Mexico City. The United States team won their first heat in stirring fashion here against West Germany. And now the United States has moved into second at the top of your picture.
Earlier today, the American coxswain Paul Hoffman told me that they did not want to give up anything at the start, and they've had to give up about a deck length, which is a little more than they would like to give up, but it's still an undecided boat race, that is for certain.
Number 3 boat, that's from New Zealand. The New Zealanders stroking at 40 at the top of your picture. That's the rates per minute. Bill, how does that stack up for the first 500 meters of this race?
That's perhaps a little higher than New Zealand would like to be, but again, they want to get the psychological advantage, and they're moving very well at that high stroke. They'll pay for it in the latter half of the race, as we saw one of their boats earlier today in a race the United States was not entered. They died at the end because they had stroked too high through the body.
So far, the East Germans have 3 golds. The Russians have 2 golds. West Germany has 1 gold. This is the last race of the Olympics of 1972, and New Zealand is setting the pace. The New Zealanders, who are out in front, the European champions of 71, as Bill Stowe mentioned, they have complete dedication to rowing. This is their last chance for a gold also. But at the top of your picture, the United States team only a half a length behind New Zealand. And then over in lane 5 is West Germany, and they have moved into the number 3 position.
West Germany is much closer to the United States than they were in the heat, the first heat, and I think this is a dangerous sign for the American crew. However, the American crew did not sprint in the race with them, so it's still going to be all the way to the finish line.
And the man whose voice you're hearing right now, Bill Stowe, was the stroke on our gold medal crew of 1964, the last time the U.S. won a gold in the 8-oared shell in Tokyo. And right now, lanes 1 and 2, there you see the difference between East Germany and the Soviet Union. Over in lane 3, though, it is New Zealand with Tony Hurt, Wybo Veldman, Dick Joyce, Johnny Hunter, Lindsay Wilson, Athol, Earl, Trevor Coker, Gary Robertson, and the cox in that boat is Dickie Simon. One boat length lead, and look at these other 4 boats in the battle for second.
That's a very commanding lead that the New Zealand has, and it's going to be hard to make up in this race. It's going to be hard for anyone to take the gold from them.
At 1,000 meters, halfway, the United States has inched into second place. Remember, the United States has not won a medal in rowing in this 1972 Olympics. In Mexico City, the United States won 2 medals, a silver and a bronze, but as yet they've been shut out. That's never happened before in rowing history in the Olympics for the Americans, and so this is the last chance they have.
We have yet to see any real sprinting in the 8-oared shells in the earlier competition here. They've been sort of saving it to see what they don't want to show what they have. They haven't had to, and we're going to have to see a fantastic sprint on part of all 4 of these boats to get into the silver and the bronze.
A very slight headwind against these boats. They're now back to 39, off 1 stroke per minute from the 40, which they set earlier. And the United States, at the top of your picture in the far lane, in lane 6, is still hanging on at the 1,250 mark. 750 meters to go. And right next to them is the crew from West Germany. And now picking up the pace is the Soviet Union.
We've never seen as close a race for second and third at this point. Usually the boats are a little more spread out. New Zealand holding this lead very well, and the United States still in good contention for a silver medal.
It's almost unbelievable to those of us in the United States that rowing could have the kind of enthusiasm that you see here in Europe. Tickets were going for $100 a piece this morning, and we have more than 35,000 people out here today just lining this magnificent course at Feldmocking. And here we come down to the 1,500-meter mark with 500 meters to go. The United States is still hanging on to second at the top of the picture. Right next to them in third, going for the bronze, is West Germany. And in the foreground is the East German crew moving up with the Russians next to them. Here's the East Germans, and they've picked up the pace, Bill Stowe.
They're up at about I get them at 38, which is the same as the United States. It's a very close thing. It is going to be into a sprint. We haven't seen the United States sprint in any earlier races. We don't know what they can do, and I'm not sure they do either.
Jim Dietz was a disappointing fifth. He did not win. The fours with Cox were a disappointing fifth. They did not get a medal. This is the last chance for the United States as they come to the 1750 mark with only 250 meters to go. It's a fantastic performance by the New Zealanders. They are way out in front with 250 meters to go when they slide by, but the United States is still hanging on to second. And look at the East Germans coming up to challenge for them. And the West Germans now are falling back into fourth. The West Germans are in lane 5 next to the United States at the top of your picture. The U.S. is still in second place, still hanging in there for the silver medal. The New Zealanders are in for the gold, and we have 175 meters to go.
It's into the sprint now. The United States has gone up to 40 strokes a minute. They'll have to go higher to take the silver, but it's a fantastic sprint in this last 30 seconds of the boat race.
It looks like the West Germans are out of it in lane 5. It'll be the United States and East Germany. East Germany closest to the camera. New Zealand now getting a challenge from the East Germans and the United States with 50 meters to go. It looks like the United States is going to get the silver. Here they come to the line. New Zealand will get the gold medal. Who will get the silver? What's the foreground? It is going to be the United States by an eyelash for the silver medal, and East Germany finishes third, and a tremendous roar goes up here from the United States fans who are filled in the stands underneath the clubhouse. A photo finish is called for. A photo finish, which means that we have less than 0.05 of a second between the second and third place crews. You'll never see a more exciting race, not necessarily for the lead, but for the other two medals, the silver and the bronze. Bill?
We knew there were 5 crews in this, but New Zealand blew them off, but the others were all the way out down the course.
We'll be back in just a moment for the photo finish of the 8-oared race here at Veldman. Well, here's the photo finish of that exciting race in the 8-oared shells. The United States at the top of the picture in lane 6, just nosing out East Germany by 0.06 of a second for the silver medal. And now Bill Stowe, our rowing expert, who for the rowing site